Hello, everyone. This is Mark, and this is Latasha Blanton from the Real South Africa. And we're so happy to have you guys here. But before we get started, we want to show you a quick intro. Enjoy. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Real South Africa. I'm so glad you guys are actually here with us on this live on this great Sunday. First thing we want to do is make sure we get a few people in the room because people are actually coming to the room. We are streaming live on 5 different platforms, so we should have a pretty robust scenario today. So obviously, we're going to do a lot of questions and answers. So if you have questions about South Africa or you're looking at traveling to South Africa, we are the ones to talk to since we are your official travel partners here to South Africa. We can make it work for you. So, of course, if this is the time, let everybody know, hey, reach out to us, let everybody know we're on. So if they have any questions, they can obviously make comments. The comments are on. So what we'll be doing throughout the broadcast is answering some of the questions. I will be posting some of the comments as they come up, so we all can be on the same sheet of music. But this is a new day. We're all traveling to Africa now. We're all coming to South Africa, and particularly for a lot of good reasons. The first reason is that we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. We make it easy for you to travel to South Africa. We've had tons of questions, over the last few years, and definitely have had a lot of the same questions. So we figured it would be beneficial if we just had a question and answer session along with some guests that we'll introduce shortly so that you guys can ask those questions out in the open. And then that way, you'll at least hear the answer. And then that way we can kind of move from there. So, I want to say thank you. We got to 20,000 subscribers a couple days ago. So thank you so much for that. The next goal, of course, is 25. So if you are watching this and you know someone that has not liked, shared, or subscribed and turned on notifications so they can be a part of broadcasts like this, please make sure you encourage them to do so. We do our very best to bring you positive content about the country of South Africa so that we can do our part on the ground and changing the narrative so that we can tell our own stories.
Exactly. And as we all know, tourism is a big, economic driver here in South Africa. So we just decided that we wanted to be part of it because, we're based here, in Johannesburg. We're broadcasting live from South Africa, live from Johannesburg. So we want to be a part of it, and you can too by just coming here, just being a tourist, being a tourist. Here in the Republic of South Africa is it's 2 thumbs up.
Absolutely.
It's just 2 thumbs up because a lot of the jobs that people are doing here are in the tourism industry. And there's a lot of industries, a lot of jobs within the tourism industry.
Yeah.
So if you come here and you're providing a tip, or you fly all the way from Atlanta and you decided to say, these guys are really showing me the best of what South Africa really is, you give a tip, it goes a long way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Derek, that's a personal question. You don't ask anybody how many cooler boxes they have. We got enough.
Okay. So I'm glad everybody's kind of, showing up to the party. I'm glad everybody made it. You got the notification, but you didn't RSVP. A lot of you guys didn't RSVP. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and still work with you anyway while you're here. But right now, like I said, we're at home, relaxed and comfortable. We had a really good day. We got an opportunity to go to the world of golf.
I won.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So anyway, we went to the world of golf and we had a really good time today. And we try to, even though right now we have people in country, we always have people in country. It seems like it. And, they're discovering South Africa for the very first time. and they have never, a lot of them never ever had any intentions of ever coming to South Africa, but they came anyway because of us and because of you guys. And the only reason I say that because as I'm scrolling through here, there's a lot of South Africans here, and it's because of the environment that South Africa provides. We can't provide this vibe all by ourselves. It's you guys.
So thank you guys for being who you are. We love the people of South Africa. So thank you very much for that. Do you want to introduce the guest now?
I don't know. These guys. Let me bring it to you. Let me bring it to you. So now, obviously, you guys are watching our channel. We have a lot of videos. We've done a lot of interviews with a lot of people that has come. And keep in mind that we don't do a video with everyone that comes because sometimes it just doesn't. I guess we just don't have time because they're on a schedule and they didn't fly all the way from the west coast of the U.S. or from the U.K. to do it to do an interview. However, sometimes they're like, you know what? I really want to do an interview. I want people to know what's really going on. So with that being said, these guys, they came here and they had an impression because we actually did a video with those guys. And it was pretty interesting. So if you haven't seen it, you can go back to our YouTube channel. And some of you guys are watching from different platforms. So our YouTube channel, just go to YouTube, put The Real South Africa in there, and then our little faces will pop up, or you will see a lot of content. First of all, just subscribe, hit the little notifications like everyone else, and then you would get the new content of what's going on here, especially with those people who have arrived for the very first time here in South Africa through the door of the return at Oliver Reginald Tambo International Airport here in Johannesburg.
His whole name.
It is his whole name because it's Black History Month too coming up right now.
Lewis, we might do a podcast. I don't know. We'll talk about it. But I want to say one more thing about the video we did with these two guys previously. The video we did with them previously, we had our resident South African there, and he made a comment that said Ubuntu is currency. So I had a shirt made that actually says Ubuntu is currency. So it goes a long way. When you get a chance to talk to JT and Rodney and ask some questions and hear their stories, you'll actually understand why it was a very big deal because they understand how far it actually goes and what they were able to experience while they were here. So I'm excited about that.
Excellent. So
hey Wes, hey Danielle.
Yeah. So without further ado, we're gonna bring JT and Rodney in all the way from because I wasn't gonna do it until we hit over 100 people watching because I don't want to waste their time. I just don't. Ready?
Hello.
There we are.
Hello.
Hello.
No. Here you say Sonny Banani. Yeah.
That's
Sonny Banani. Yeah.
More than one person. You got it.
Yeah. Rodney is still learning Zulu.
I'm trying.
You obviously got it. So.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was gonna say that.
Yeah, it's all good.
I think I was saying goodbye instead of hello.
You were, yeah. There's a Zulu lesson every day, or I guess around the hour in this house. Yes, from me.
So Rodney, how are you doing with the C, the X, and the Q?
Ooh, can we talk about that another time?
Oh yeah, we can.
I think
the
C is better.
He can do the C. He can say Gangani, which is a little bit. Gangani.
The C is better than
the Q. Yeah. I'm working with them on this X. Yeah.
Look at you showing off. So while you guys were here, you guys stayed a little over a month. So I'm just gonna let you guys, since the first interview, obviously you hadn't really done any tours, you had just been there kind of exploring. So now that you got to experience and have some tours and then of course visit Cape Town, like go ahead and just honestly just share your heart so we can kind of get an idea.
Okay, so just going back to just how we even got to this point. So for me, South Africa has always been in my heart, and I tell people this since Serafina. So since the 90s. So you see this gear, the flag, the language. I've always wanted to go to go to South Africa since Serafina in the 90s. And I said, one day I'm going. And so I would watch people go and just kind of go do some of the little tourism stuff and never really hear anything about it. But when I think 2 years ago, a friend of ours, Booley, reached out to me and told me about you guys. And I saw the videos and I was like, okay, this is it. We're going. And so just fast forwarding and getting there, it was like my spirit was just already there and just going everywhere. It's like I felt home instantly. It wasn't anything for me that I had to take time to get used to. Once I got off the plane and just got there, it was just like, I looked around and just saw everybody like, oh my goodness, looking at billboards, everybody looks like me. And I just felt home. And just everywhere, the tours, everywhere we went. And even like we were a tourist, I just kind of felt even like a resident already in SA. So, I mean, it was just, an amazing experience. This had to be the best gateway to really see an experience. And I thank you, Latasha, because you suggested when you found out what our goal was, I said, hey, we want to expat. You said, you know what? You need to be here for a month. I said, okay. And people, it was never it wasn't our suggestion. We didn't want to, I wouldn't say want to stay for a month. We just was like, just took it and say, hey, why not go for a whole month? And it was the best way to get fully immersed in the culture and to just be a part of everybody, everywhere we went. It was just, just a breath of fresh air. I'll put it that way. And just versus being here, which that's a whole nother story.
Hey, we'll get into that.
Yeah. Right. Okay, Rodney, go ahead.
And my side of the story is that pretty much kind of piggybacking off of some of the things he's saying, but I didn't really know that I had a passion to visit South Africa until a few years ago because I always heard him talk about some of the historical stuff with Serafina. I watched bits and pieces of it, but it didn't hit me until we started talking to Booley, and then we started following you guys. Thank you so much for all that you put out there because it really opened my eyes to see that, okay, South Africa is not what they've shown us on TV. Africa, the continent of Africa is just something totally different than what we've been shown. And as you mentioned, being engulfed in the culture, staying there a whole entire month, I think it was the best thing we could have done because we had gone for 2 weeks. We would have not been ready. We would have definitely not been ready to leave. We wasn't ready to leave anyway, but we would have not been ready and we would have not gotten all that we had gotten, the connections we made with people. Like that's something that's a whole nother conversation, but that is just amazing how they embrace you, how people are willing to help you, how people are willing to show you things, tell you things, teach you things. Like it's just amazing. So I'm glad that I was fortunate enough to have that experience because it's a once in a lifetime thing for some people. And I know it won't be for us because we'll be back, but it was the vacation, the trip of a lifetime because it was a journey because we were looking at it not just as a vacation. We were learning. We were trying to be put into the culture. We were trying to understand what it's like. Got a lot of questions answered, got a lot of things that we wanted to know and understand clarified. So just to piggyback off of him, just a wonderful experience. Like wonderful doesn't describe it.
Yeah. And just going to different places in Joburg was fun. We got hooked with a family and that was amazing. Went to Constitution Hill, where Mandela was, saw that history. Gotta learn some history. Gotta do that. So that was fun. That was interesting. Went to Soweto. Oh, I love Soweto. Yeah, went to Soweto. Went to Vilakazi Street.
That's right.
Mandela House and had some good old Soweto food and some tripe. South Africans know about their tripe. So Americans, if you're wondering what that is, that's our chitlins. And it tasted totally different over there, but it was delicious. If Tabang is watching, Tabang, when I come back, we'd have to go back.
Which brings me to a question I just saw that someone asked, what is my African name? Shout out to Tabang from Soweto. He actually gave me my South African name and his Lawazi, and it stands for knowledge, because I informed him on a lot of things that happened in the U.S. in terms of history. So, that's where he gave me, because he was educating me and informing me about a lot of stuff with South Africa, and, we were sharing. And so he gave me that name. So I'm very excited to have a South African name, because never knew I'd have one just by visiting.
Yeah.
Well, Tabang is actually watching. Tabang is watching. I put his little message up there, so so he's
Tabang.
Hey,
Yeah, Tabang from Johnny.
Yeah, but it's funny because us coming from America, and I think most South Africans, and I'm because we're here all the time, don't really understand that we don't get any information about South Africa. We don't know much. We don't never get taught anything. I mean, like formally or almost informally. And if it's South Africa, it's all rolled up within Africa.
You're right.
It's all just Africa. So even though we might see on TV it's the Congo, we just say, oh, it's all Africa.
Right.
And most things that we get. So we want our South African, people to know that. The reason why a lot of us don't come as Black people, because we get completely hoodwinked, miseducated, told so many things about Africa. So even when you say the word Africa, it's almost like, oh my God, don't talk about that. Talk about anywhere else. So for us to be able to break through all of those barriers, and like for us to be here, and then to throw another lifeline back to people such as yourselves to experience Africa, and what you are finding is it's always been here. We just never get an opportunity to do it.
Right. And Mark, if you don't mind, I'm gonna interject there.
Yeah.
We got asked that a lot. We got asked that a lot too from the South Africans, and it's what is advertised to us. To your point. And I was telling someone, I think it was Ezekiel, someone we were telling someone that they would show us these elephants in the big safari, and that's all we saw growing up in the lions. So all we saw was a safari. And then also too is the advertising of vacation here in the States. There's always a cheap flight to Mexico. There's always a cheap flight to France. There's always a cheap flight to even China, but you never see one to Africa.
Yeah.
Anywhere in Africa. I don't. You always see those. So we see a lot of our American brothers and sisters. Everyone goes to the exact same places, or they're going to Dubai, or they're going here, they're going there. But it's a small subset of us going to Africa. And so I'm hoping that we're changing the narrative for that, along with some other Atlantans I have seen that's been there as well, and other Americans here as well. It's nothing like going to a place and you're appreciated from the time you get off the plane. It's nothing like that. And oh my goodness, I got so emotional, and I was in Cape Town, and the people was just, even in Joburg, they were saying, "Welcome home, brother." Oh, brother, you home.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, y'all don't understand that.
And not to knock or bash, people for going other places. There's nothing wrong with that, because we've gone to other countries too. That's fine and good, but explore your motherland, explore some part of it, explore it, because there's so much you can get from that. And like he said, just the welcoming, the love, the support. You're not going to go anywhere else in the world and get that. I guarantee you won't go anywhere else in the world and get what we got from the people, and we have lasting friendships now. Like, we have people that check up on us. What are some of our American friends?
Yeah, they do.
And that's true. They are very quick to check in. How you doing? Sometimes they'll FaceTime you or something, and you feel so connected. And you're far away from each other, but you just feel so connected. And I think that's it's an experience. I can't say I was even expecting it to be that way. I knew we would make friends, but I didn't know that the friendships would be that meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Yes. We were, let me tell you, it was like we were almost became celebrities in Rosebank. I was telling Rodney, I was like, we can't go this way. We need to get to Checkers and Pick and Pay, and they close at 7. But if we go this way, we're gonna end up talking to this person.
And we'll never make it. We'll never make
Y'all
it.
knew everybody.
We did.
Yeah.
I think by day number 9, you knew the front door man, the security guard, the person that worked at Starbucks, the person that worked at you knew like everybody on the people that worked in World Wars. I was like, what are you doing? You was like, we're just making friends.
Friends, yeah.
Bootleggers Coffee Shop.
The Bootleggers Coffee Shop.
Oh my goodness.
Shout out to Bootleggers. Tell them your coffee story, because you made a post while you were here. And I remember the very first Sunday I met you guys, I said we would meet at Starbucks. And you had your cute little coffees and you were happy. And then a couple weeks in, you found Bootleggers around the corner. What happened after that?
Okay, so let me tell you what happened was, as we say. Okay, that was just right there. I have never seen a Starbucks with the reserve section. Mm-hmm. That's what caught my attention, because Rodney knows I'm a coffee drinker, but I didn't want a pike or a blonde. I wanted that reserve section, so I was getting my life there. But I kept saying, I want to go out, try some other coffee. South African coffee. So I went to Bootleggers right around the corner. Oh my goodness. It literally made Starbucks taste like tap water. No, for real. I struggled. When we got back and got off the plane, I wanted coffee, and I looked, I said, Rodney, that cappuccino is not going to taste the same. And I went over there. Number one, the service was not the same.
No.
Yeah, of course.
Cappuccino was watered down. I was looking for that rich. I'm like, oh my gosh.
He goes every day. Oh gosh, I miss South Africa. Oh gosh, the coffee. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I do too. But hard. Yeah, but the freshness of everything, like drinks, food, I mean, like, it's unmatched. I have not.
Everything is made with love and care. Mm-hmm. Y'all, let me tell y'all, Americans that are listening, y'all said I can be candid.
Yeah, of course.
We did not have one attitude everywhere we went, from the coffee shop to asking for help in the supermarkets and the restaurants. The gracefulness of the South African people wanting to help. Hey, can I take your order, please? Or Rodney didn't turn out right, and Tiger's milk. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh, okay. It was no back and
she took time to understand what the issue was.
Yeah.
And she didn't rebuttal anything. She just went and, like, sometimes I've seen things happen here in the States where, we have a close friend that a waiter actually pointed at him. Like, she was like, no, you ordered. So, and we were like, oh, that's no way to talk to, a customer or your brother. That's no way to talk to anybody. Right. Never once did we experience anything like that. Everything has always been graceful. They hear your dialect, your accent. They know that you're American, and they want to latch on to that. They talk to you. They become your friend. They want to know about what's life like for a Black person in America. They'll get to that like real fast, because they want to understand what's your experience, what's your situation, who are you, why are you here, not in a bad way, but in a good way. They want to connect with you. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Nobody asked you what you did they?
Not one person.
That is number one, Latasha. The friendships, no one cared what school I went to. No one cared what kind of house I'm living in or what I have on. The friendships or car. As we see here in the States, everything has to come with with these prerequisites in order for you to be a friend. We did not get that one time. No one really asked. And if it did come up, it came up later on in our conversation.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking, but we were talking for days to some of our friends, and we didn't even know what they did. They didn't know what we did. And sometimes it just randomly come out of, conversation. You start talking and you say, well, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then you realize, oh, we just started talking about what we do, and it's been a week. And but the conversation shifts to something else. It's not a focus on, any of that, But like, you know, here in Atlanta, I can't speak for every state, but I know Atlanta is a city, you know, I love it. It's great. But a lot of people are very stuck on what you do, what you drive, like you said, where you live, what part of town you live in. Oh, do you live in Buckhead? No, don't live in Buckhead. It's crime ridden. But that's what they do. But that's what they do. They always emphasize that stuff. And it's like, okay, you know, you're not, what about me as a person? You know, what about where I'm from? You know, what I did before now, you know, like what about the things that really make me me? And that's what you get in South Africa. Is what you get.
Yeah.
So you know, let's just suppose for a moment you're having a conversation. You've been talking to somebody for 2 hours, or you might have saw them the next day or next week, and you know, obviously, you know, they find out what you do or what you want to do. It seems like they always want to, you know, help you. They want to help you get to that next level, whatever you're trying to do. If it's where's the good coffee? Hey, you need to go to this place, or hey, professionally, I would love to do this. Everybody seems to know someone that can get you where you need to go, and they will go out their way to make that happen for you. Did you guys experience anything like that?
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, when I had the situation with my phone, Vodacom was like, this is what you do. Well, we don't have this. I mean, they went that through step by step. Okay, take this right here, and you're good. Even when we were maybe have gotten lost. Oh, why don't you go around here and then check them out? And it was just so genuine and friendly in the airport. Oh my goodness, y'all! That's the ultimate.
Yeah.
Leaving, of course, guys, being there for a month, we shopped like crazy and came back with two extra bags each.
You know, face of shame, right?
Oh my goodness. If anybody knows Basile, the Delta agent at the Tambo airport, tell her I said hello. Because the bags were overweight and it was extra, they went through an hour and a half of blood, sweat, and tears so that we would not pay $500 and only pay just a one small fee to push those bags through. I said, this is the true South African love here. Yeah. It was boxes everywhere. They were pulling. This was at the airport, guys.
They were trying everything they could.
I mean, if that had been in Atlanta, no, you're going to pay this $500 to get on that plane and go.
They took some of my stuff out of his suitcase, reboxed it. Then that didn't work. Then they found somebody left an old
carry-on bag. They took everything.
They took and combined. I mean, like, they worked it out. Like, it was just amazing.
And then they left the ticket counter and went all the way to the gate to ensure that we got on.
Yeah.
By the time I got there, guys, I was in tears and out of breath.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me those pictures that you sent to me and that video you sent to me, and I was worried about whether or not you guys were going to make the plane, was them actually reshuffling and repacking your bags? You never said
that was them and the supervisor. They were working it out, and they said, we're going to leave and go to the gate to make sure you get on that plane.
That is beautiful.
I really didn't want to leave South Africa.
Like, where else am I going to get this kind of love? Like, where else am I going to get this hopeful?
Yeah, I mean, and they stayed upbeat about it the whole time. They didn't get like, you know, I could tell they were getting really exhausted trying to figure it out, but they were just so cool about it. Like, they were just really.
Yeah, and they were calling me about my South African. They said, Safiso, they said, look, just hush, we got this. You don't have to be embarrassed. You're taken care of. Yeah. I'm just pouring in sweat.
Well, I got a follow-up story. It was somebody may have heard it before, but when I came here in 2010 for World Cup, I was U.S. Secret Service, and I had never really driven on the wrong side of the road, on the wrong side of the car. Obviously, I do it well now. But here I am, we were leaving, and I hit a curb, and I got a flat tire. So the rest of the motorcade with Vice President Biden kept going. So somebody threw me a cell phone and said, we'll be back. By the time I got off the side of the road, the South African police services went into my trunk, pulled out the tire, changed the tire, right? Changed the tire, put the flat tire in the trunk. And then they told me, they said, well, we didn't want you to get your suit dirty. Right. Right.
Right.
So then they gave me an escort to the airfield to where we were going, because I had no clue where we was going. They got in front of me with a lead. We took off. So as we're pulling in, and now I'm getting radio reception. We pull into the airport. The VP's on the plane. I heard them come over the radio. Yeah, we got to send somebody back to go get Blanton, which is me. And then I come across the air. I'm already here. And they were like, how'd you get here so fast? Because of my South African brothers made sure that I was taken care of while I was here. So I get it.
Yeah, man, the love and the support. I'm like,
it's those types of things. Like,
yeah,
just going the extra mile and not even upset about doing it. They're actually graceful about it. They're happy to help you.
Yeah.
So guys,
so much humanity.
This question's been asked twice already, and I know that you and I have talked about this offline. So they're asking you if you are considering or would consider relocating to South Africa.
I'm gonna let Rodney answer that first.
Let me answer. Okay. Yeah, I'll answer that first. Yeah, we are. Like, it's definitely one of my plans in life. That my idea is retirement. But Safiso wants to go now.
Wants to go yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we'll figure it out. We'll figure out that time frame.
Yeah.
Honestly, another scenario we ran by each other is maybe living in both countries, baby. So many months here, so many months there when we get to that point in our life. So we got a couple things in mind, but we know that we really want to be connected to, the culture.
Either way, I have to be more than just a tourist there, because even when I go back, it's home, and I say that because home is really not a place; it's the feeling.
Yes,
and he knows this every day, because one of my friends has said, you have been off ever since you got back. My spirit is still in South Africa. I have had dreams back in Rosebank. I've had dreams walking down CBD and didn't even really get out in CBD. My spirit every day is there. And he could tell, he's just like, you're not the same. I'm sorry, what was that?
You were having dreams about being here before you got here.
That is true. Yeah. So it's like I'm homesick, but I'm homesick from where I know where I belong. That's the easiest way for me to put that. I just know in my spirit, if I had to get on a plane and go tomorrow, I wouldn't look back. Yes, I miss my family, but I know for me in my spirit, I belong in South Africa, and nobody can tell me that.
Yeah. I will say, on another note, that when you do go back and after you spent some time, you guys spent some significant time here, and you're going through all the emotional thing. It's not just looking at stuff, maybe having a quick emotional high and then move on. It's like it's almost like a magical ride the whole time while you're here, and then you get back to the States, and it's you go back to your life, you see the same people, you go back to work or whatever. It is a massive emotional letdown, and and you're consistently trying to recapture that. So what do? You talk to your friends and you try to explain to them, they don't get it. You show them pictures, they're like, but that's only that one place. They do all this stuff to you, and then you get to the point, and maybe you haven't gotten there yet, but you will.
No, they have.
It's frustrating, because you know what you felt, you know what you did, and it's almost like they want you to let it go in lieu of just going to Buffalo Wild Wings on Thursday night. Yeah, exactly. I don't know, but eventually, you're gonna have, and it's already started. And I say started because obviously we've been doing this for an extended period of time, and that's why we're sitting here, because we couldn't see ourselves sitting there anymore. After all the stuff that we had achieved, we just couldn't do it, because everything you can do there, you can actually do it here.
And have more fun doing it.
Yeah, and have more do it. Have more fun doing it, and do it with good people around you and friends.
Yeah.
Supporting you. So I would say, would you say that most, especially African Americans, visit South Africa?
Most African Americans? No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
That's an easy no.
Why? Oh, it's a good
Tell why.
Well, we saw that on the plane when we got there, and we were like, the only African Americans, and then there were two other friends that we made that were former African Americans, but now they live in different parts of Africa. One live in Johannesburg, and one live in Cape. Now, so we're not.
Yeah, and he also
something to say.
Right, yeah. They just made it here. It's so expensive to go to South Africa. That's how I feel. They roll out these discounts to go other places very cheap, and to go to South Africa. And then too, it's what we've seen, we've been fed before. They don't show us the nice homes, the bigger homes that's cost the same, but 10 times bigger over there. The beautiful landscape, the nice plush 5-star restaurants that you can go and spend $40 at. They don't show us that. And so we only go by the images of what's fed to us or comes through our Expedia discount. Or that's what we see. So, and then a lot of us, we follow the in crowd. So, and I think I said this earlier in the broadcast. When we see these things come out and we start seeing on Facebook, that person is going to France, or they're going to Greece, or they're going to Mexico. I see this cadence of that's where everybody goes. It's a pattern.
There's so many followers in our culture, and we choose not to be that. We choose to be innovators. Like this is something innovating for us because nobody else we knew personally. Well, we find that when we start talking about and posting, there are some people that we kind of know from afar that's been to South Africa, but you never have heard them talk about it. So it's not the norm. It's just not the norm for us. It's not every other person that you're going to talk to that's African American going to say, "Oh, I've had that experience. I've been there." You'll have one or two here and there.
Right. Yeah. And you want to say that even your platform is even not the norm. Like I don't hear someone have a podcast for Mexico or any other city, but this platform here is opening up the gateway. People are sharing. We are sharing.
And not to cut you off, but the difference is Mexico doesn't need a platform. They've been represented. We need a platform for South Africa because it's very underrepresented. And thanks to you guys, it's being represented. So it's like it's always been under the radar. So we need it, and that's exactly that's exactly how it should be because we're even just in the United States, we know being Black, you're always underrepresented with everything. So why would it be any different? That's how we and that's how we vibe with the South Africans and learn that your disparity is almost the same as my disparity. We share so many similar things in life that we can relate to, and I think that's what builds the friendships too, because you really have people you can relate to, and they can relate to you on so many different levels.
Right. And so speaking of that, think about the Black. One thing that I loved so much in South Africa is that I didn't have to wear a Black Lives Matter shirt. I didn't have to wear any Black Lives Matter gear to prove that I was Black.
Yeah.
It was just, I fit in. And so I recall seeing some of the previous videos where people were saying, "Oh, you don't feel Black. You don't feel Black." I mean, have to prove a point. You're just there. You're part of the majority. Everywhere you look around, everywhere you go, it's just like, man.
And so it almost seems like when you come back, like we went in town yesterday in Atlanta, and we saw a lot of Black Lives Matter, flags and signs and stuff. Yeah. And so it almost feels kind of insulting that we even got to say that. Like why do we have to even say that in 2022 anymore? Like why we should have always mattered. But when you go there, you instantly matter. Like you instantly feel it. You know, South Africa embraces you. They're so warm, they're so welcoming. Like, you know, even the guy standing at the airport with the sign. When we came, got off the plane, he was standing there with the sign, escorted us on and you know, made conversation. You know, people always start telling you about things to do or where to go, sometimes without you even asking. So, and you know, that's just a difference. You know, people are just so giving. In so many different ways, and I think that's just a thing for me. And you know, coming back, you know, I'm walking around Atlanta and I'm thinking about, dang, like it's so hard to make a friend here, like to make an honest, genuine connection with somebody, and because you know you don't know what their MO is, you know, even if they are friendly to you, you don't know. Especially this city, we know everybody's coming. Majority of people are coming at you from an angle, you know, they're sizing you up. You know, it's always something, or you know, you gotta be careful because people keep saying Africa. I'm like, be careful here in Atlanta.
Thank you.
Be careful in the U.S. You know, for so many reasons, you got to be careful here. Over there, you got to be cautious everywhere you go. But honestly, we felt so much safer there because you know, people it doesn't seem like every other person's out to get you. You know, like we feel here.
I love that feeling more so than anything. When I got over there, I feel like I was getting people together on Facebook. Oh, it was COVID. If America took South Africa's COVID infrastructure and put it in place, we wouldn't have the cases.
And really enforce it.
We wouldn't have the issues that we have here. And this is like, man, and even this is not COVID, the physical security. And y'all know we're in cybersecurity. The first thing I looked at was the physical security. When I saw them with the AK-47s in the mall, I said, if we had that in Atlanta at the malls,
we could go visit Lennox. We can't go. That's out of the question. That's for the tourists.
I saw it, and that's another eye opener. When people say, "Oh, you know, be careful." I can go to the mall and know that if somebody tried to rob me, then most likely they will be shot or something. I'll be protected, or there'll be a consequence. Even in Rosebank, in the outside part of Rosebank, the mall area, there was just security everywhere. I felt safe, even on the different blocks. It was security. Did you tell me to be safe? And I think I saw this on somebody else's YouTube. Some guy went to South Africa and he was saying, they was telling me, to be careful. He said, but you live on the south side of Chicago and you telling me to be careful in a country that's so peaceful?
Yeah.
They just right. You gotta be there to get it.
And the only way I was about to say that the only way you find out is to get on a plane and go.
Yeah, and that's exactly, you know, and that's exactly what our plan was initially when we started this company, because like I said, there was way too much information, bad information. There were, you know, and I'll be honest with you, there were those that were on YouTube that all you see is just the negative. They just show negative, and that's all that we ever saw. And we've been coming to this country for years at the time, and we really didn't see any negative. I mean, we're in DC. We saw plenty of negative, just on the news, let alone just riding down the street. And so we was like, you know what, we're going to change that narrative. And then on top of that, we're gonna set it up so people can actually come to South Africa. We're not just going to talk about it, you know, and then tell people to come and then let them go find their devices, how to get here and what to do and where to go. We actually set up an entire infrastructure. So when people are ready to come to South Africa, or they even thinking about coming to South Africa, just give us a call and we will set things up. Like, for example, there was a comment somebody said, you know, about people going to just Cape Town, Joburg, and Durban. Yeah, they do go to those places because they're, you know, South Africa has really put a lot of effort into building those places up for people who want to come visit, because tourism is a major driver of economics here in the Republic of South Africa. So obviously we decided we wanted to be part of it. We we have an opportunities to do something, do so. But we've sent people to other places as well.
Yeah.
You just maybe never heard. Like,
we
for
have
example,
packages to Limpopo and in Mpumalanga. So
Yeah.
I mean, we northwest. I mean,
Yeah.
so we do more than just the three. It's just that we're closer to those three. And I'm not gonna follow someone out to Limpopo and Mpumalanga because I love it so much myself. I'm gonna be trying to do my own thing, but I'm not worried about them.
So if anybody wants to, like, for example, right now we have somebody in Port Elizabeth right now. I mean, right now as we're speaking, we have a family there in Port Elizabeth right now because they called and they said, "Hey, I want to experience it. I heard about it." And of course, we have all the resources, literally all the resources, like all of them, to get people where they want to go. And like I said, it took us a little while to build that, to get that trust, but we did that so we can, let those people that are sitting on that side of the water where you are, as they say, here on that side.
Yes. Love it. Yes.
To let you guys know that, it's available. And then, of course, you guys happen to stumble up on it. You guys will put it out, and it'll be a grassroots movement. And then now, hopefully in time, it'll be like a normal destination, and people can get what you guys got. And there are people that come here and they get other things, but we've never had anybody here who left and they didn't, it's kind of like Fantasy Island, that old TV show. People get what they want,
right.
Whatever they're looking for, they find it here in South Africa.
Good or bad.
And that's what we've found.
Right. Mark, I want to, because I saw that comment and I wanted to expand on that as well. When you're there for a month, and I know you have the different regions, itinerary was not just packed with just the tourist stuff. We had days off, and I like that because it allowed us to be free and go explore on our own.
Yeah.
I like the fact that people say, "Oh, have you been to Mpumalanga? Or have you been to Limpopo?" And we can just say, "Oh, okay. Well, Latasha, can you just book that for us like you did Cape Town?" Okay, and do it. So I liked having that freedom of being able to kind of explore on our own. Like, well, okay, so we went to Cape Town, and they say, "Oh, okay, well, we heard about that." So I think that kind of gives people the freedom to talk to locals and go to different places. I know because you can't do but so much, but when you have those days of leisure, as you guys call it, it gives you time to really explore on your own. And by the way, I was an exchange student before, years ago, and so that I remember my host parents didn't just hold my hand. There were certain things I had to learn on my own in Ecuador, certain different places, and so that teaches you how to be fully immersed in the culture. Just like we would do here sometimes. Hey, they got that going on over there? Okay, cool. So I like that flexibility that you get, that you don't just jam pack it, but you give those days so that you can explore different places.
Exactly.
So I hats off to that. Yes, I love that.
It's funny because we get people, and the facts are that some people, they romanticize about Africa, or they have this idea of what it is. No matter what you tell them, they have this idea of what South Africa actually is. And so they're like, based off of that, they're requesting certain things. And, well, I think this, and I want to do this. I want to come and work at an orphanage. I want to, do all these different things. And I'm listening to them, and we're like, I'm quick to say, no. You're not gonna do. And even if they resist, I'm like, I know what your idea of South Africa really is, or what you think it is, but come here and experience it. And once they get here, they're like, oh, I see why you said that. I see why you did that. Just like you said, I see why you put time in between different events so you can just go do what you want to do. Because the facts are, you're free. You're free.
Right.
You're free. So you should have time to go do the things that you want to do as well. But there are also things that you need to do while you're here. And we make sure that happens as well. So we put together even if you're only coming for 6 days, we put together a well-rounded program So when you leave, at least you can say, you know what, I was in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You can say you were there. And I want to just say too, you know, when you start talking about like all the things that you guys have access to, I mean, most of I mean, you saw a lot of what we do, you know, Joburg, Cape Town, some stuff in Durban. And I appreciate the people that are like, okay, it looks so easy. I'm not gonna book through you, but I'm just gonna come to South Africa and do it on my own. And that's all well and good. Just understand that, you know, our services come at a level that I think JT and Rodney can say, like, it makes you feel better knowing that at least if something happens, you have someone that is going to be able to make a situation better for you. It's difficult for me to assist you if you call me after you've gotten here to think that I'm, you know, obligated to help you get out of a situation that you got yourself in when you didn't use my services. In a lot of ways, I would say that that's almost rude. However, just keep that in mind. Like, we do provide a service. We do live here. And, you know, I appreciate the people that, you know, that love what we do, the South Africans and the people that are traveling here, the ones that are here in a couple of days. You know, thank you for respecting what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, Latasha, I said this even before we came. You know, I'm an analyst by profession as well. I love process and order. And the app, the best, man, you guys are just on point for that.
I was sold just by looking at the app. When I saw my itinerary and I was like, we're gonna do this, all of that. Like, it blew my mind. Like, I was telling my family and friends, I said, you just gotta see this. Like, this is just, I've never seen anything like this. Everything's laid out for you. You can make changes if, you know, with certain things. You were very flexible with that. You know, I think we had to make a change or two here and there, but you were very flexible. But I absolutely agree with you on that. I wouldn't want to do it any other way. Like, I would have that representation. And, you know, like I said, things do happen when you travel. And, you know, we had some things that happened and, you know, thankfully, you know, it wasn't nothing too big, but it's the fact that we could reach out and say, hey, this is the situation. How we handle this? Or, you know, it's always a benefit, you know, and people don't realize until they get there, you know, hey, you hadn't thought about that happening, did you? You know, you're thinking about everything being perfect, you know, everything going smoothly. Well, that's not life. So, you know, what better way to have is to have people that already know, you know, the ins and outs and have connections.
And I just connected with you. I told Rodney, I said, oh my goodness, I said, Latasha. I'm a people person, but I was like, Lord be Latasha. I said, oh, Mark, I love your wife. She's so cool. we are separated in birth.
That's so much alike.
We are. I was like, Lord, Latasha, that's my girl. Woo, I mean, thank you. I mean, you guys literally became our family. You really did. So it was like, I really was so looking forward to today just so I can see your faces, because I was like, oh Lord, it really made me miss South Africa.
Well, I see that people are asking questions. When are we returning to
Wesley?
Soon. We want to come back this year and next year too, because we want to come for a friend's birthday. We want to bring a friend there for his birthday. And then his brother wants to go for his milestone birthday. So
my brother is actually watching, I believe, Tamarcus Talbert. That's my oldest brother. So you all now see the Blantons and see what it's like just from just talking over the phone.
So we planning his birthday.
It's February. Yes, it'll be February 2023. His 50th.
So I'm planning a birthday.
Yes, you would have to plan a birthday.
So we will be back to answer that question.
We do have another question.
Okay.
And I just popped it up on the screen. Maybe you can.
Oh, please talk about this one.
Oh, that shopping experience.
I was gonna get to that because, you know, I love shopping. I don't know if they heard or not, but, you know, we had a hard time getting all our bags through the airport. So, and it wasn't because we bought a lot of bags. It's because we accumulated bags because we accumulated stuff. So, yeah, we love shopping at
Santa City Mall,
Mandela
Square.
The stores we like, Bogart Man,
Markham.
Yeah.
Markham is nice. You know, we did sample like some of the stuff we have over here, like Zara and H&M. We did, you know, go into those places.
Yeah.
But we wanted to go places that we didn't have here.
Yeah.
And we went to some other
There's a shoe store, Cavella,
Cavella, I think.
Cavella is that the Italian shoes?
Yeah.
Oh, that was dangerous.
We went to
That's
a couple
probably
of those boutiques, you know, boutiques here and there, but like we found a lot of stuff we wouldn't find here. And you know, souvenir shopping, you know, souvenir shops. You know, we did a lot of souvenirs. What else?
the market Rosebank. Yeah.
We bought wine.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, shopping experience. Santon City Mall is it. Like it is. Anybody that lives in Atlanta, think about Lenox and Phipps Place
On steroids. Yeah.
Think about those on steroids.
Yeah.
In a good way. In a good way.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah, man. I was like, and just looking at the price, and I kept telling Rodney, I said, ring that up. I said, that's 2,500 rands, meaning that we got all these clothes for $100-something.
Right. Like, it's mind blowing. Like, it's
so you do get caught up. I think I was explaining this to I guess in that Danielle, what's his name? Wesley? Yeah, I was talking to him on WhatsApp, but I was like, man, we got caught up. It's hard because our money goes so far over there.
It does.
Because I was struggling with that yesterday when we was out.
It's different here. It's like as soon as you start spending, you feel broke here. But like there, I was spending, and it seems like it was just evaporating. Like it wasn't even my balance wasn't changing. Like I was like, dang, I still got this much money.
Right. And so my birthday is on Tuesday, and I'm looking, and I was like, where am I gonna go? And I was like, oh, because we have some South African restaurants here that are owned by South Africans.
Okay.
And I was looking at the price, and I was like, but I said, I wish that was in rands.
Hey, check this out. We have another question.
Okay.
That I want to pop up. Somebody asked about that T-shirt. Wait, get to that T-shirt at some point.
Oh,
that
That one.
This one?
Yeah.
It's a lot that can be said. You know, hey, South Africa is at the heart of everything.
Bleeding through America.
It's at the heart of. I just really wish that people, like a lot of skeptics, I wish that they would just put that to the side and go, because you really start feeling that feeling of, okay, I'm in a place, as we said, you know, where people really embrace you, love you, and they keep in touch with you. And it's just that I don't know, like I just don't connect with a lot of people here like that. Like I just don't, like it's very sparsed out when I meet somebody that I really genuine fall in love with in terms of just inducting them into our friendship circle. But South Africa was effortless. Like it just happens.
And even before then, how this all got started was because of Booley. And I know she's probably either watched, she's on the ship. Booley, she really opened this up to you guys. And even though she could not be in South Africa, every day there was a video check-in. Even Kaniwe is another one. Kaniwe, she was checking in with us. Our South African friends, before we even got there, was making sure we were taken care of every single day. When we got to Kaniwe, shout out to Kaniwe if she's watching. When we got there, I mean, everything had closed. Yeah. By the time we got there, we were hungry. She went and just bought us food. And she said, the Uber driver is going to come, go downstairs. It's in my name. I'm just like.
Oh, and the people that we met at the airport, we met a South African named Hukani Pinto. She may be on the podcast.
Hukani, yes.
She is just like, she invited us to go spend time with their family. Like they opened their home to us. Yeah, like she didn't really know us from a can of paint outside of the airport. But the family just embraced us. Like they fed us like 3 times, I believe, they ate like 3 times while we was there, and it was all wonderful. And we had champagne, wine, like whatever we wanted, we had it. And it was just great food and conversation. Like it felt like we had known them, and like she was going to invite us for I think one of the holidays, but we were
December 16th. A lot of the South Africans know what that day is.
We were in Cape at that time.
Yeah.
But she was going to invite us back, and it was just amazing how we didn't know them, but like in the end, like soon as we connected, it's like we knew them.
As soon as we walked in, the family was just talking to us, and then I was looking at the people like, oh my goodness, you look just like my cousin back home. Just the different language and just the love, and they made sure we were okay, and then we were singing. They were teaching us the South African dances. I know y'all South African.
You got to control, boy. But so let me ask you. But a good thing too, like for example, like there's a few videos where I'm in Soweto, or there's a lot of videos people don't see, simply because we just out living our lives. But it's great to just show up anywhere, and of course being Black, showing up anywhere and be accepted immediately. Nobody talking about who is that and who he with, and all that stuff that we run into in the U.S. And then all of a sudden you got a nice drink in your hand, you got some food in front of you, and you're just laughing, and you just got there, and it's hours later, and you're still talking to the same people. It's awesome. It is awesome, and that's what I think a lot of us in the States, we need to learn from that, and
that's so true.
We need to experience it. We have to experience what it's like to be around good people all the time. Good Africans. We need to learn more about being African than being American. We call African Americans. They call us that, but we need to pander to our African side. And you will learn a lot about that just being here, especially in South Africa. You'll be like, oh, so this is what it means to be Black. It don't mean that other stuff that they taught us,
Right.
So, I got a question for you. Somebody said, Mark, ask them about the vibe here compared to the U.S.
Before you guys answer that question, because I've heard your stories. All I'm saying is, I want people to understand when we talk about when they answer this question, just know that for a few days I couldn't find them, because every time I tried to, they was like, "Oh, we get somebody picking us up. We getting ready to go here." Like that's how quick they made friends. So that goes into the vibe that they're about to describe. So go ahead, guys.
Exactly. You want to take the vibe on?
The vibe, okay, one thing this kind of segue into something I wanted to say.
Right.
We were talking about understanding what it's like to be African. People there, they want you to experience where they're from. Like they're proud, like they want to take you back to their villages, and they want to show you their family and their people around the way. They may live in Joburg, they may live in Cape or whatever, but they want to take you. And it's a pride that they have, and it's a pride. That's the vibe. It's a pride, but it's a good pride. It's not a pride like, oh, I'm proud of all these things I have and how I look and I'm flossing. No, it's a pride in my native, who I am, where I'm from. And here, in the States, a lot of people want to sweep under the rug where they're from. Like I had a classmate. I'm from a very small town, and she moved to Atlanta from the small town that we're from. And she denied that she was from there. She didn't even want to admit. And we're like, we know you. We know who you are. But there, they don't want to hide. They want to show you, this is where I'm from. These are my people. This is my culture. This is what we do on holidays. This is what we do day to day. They want to show you the life. This is how we work in the village, and it's so intriguing because you start learning that, it's really not a lot of difference from the way you live. Because a lot of us, we come, from the hood, or where we came from may not come from the hood, may come from, the suburbs, but wherever you're from, you kind of, at some point, venture off into another place in your life, and you come back and you visit. But it's such a pride and the vibe, the energy, like when you go out, like we've gone to like some restaurants that kind of, turn up a little bit, that remind us of the ATL vibe. So that's one thing I appreciated too, in terms of that, that part of the vibe. It's an energy. You see people, Black people, African people dancing in the restaurants. They're shaking it. They're having a good time.
Oh, News Cafe.
News Cafe. Shout out to News Cafe.
Yeah,
News Cafe.
That song was Amapiano. Oh man, that song, and they were, oh man, but yeah, I was like, okay, this reminds me of ATL. So it was like, I love the vibe. but it wasn't a vibe to where it felt dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, we can have a vibe, and you have to be like, oh, okay, is the police gonna roll up at any moment, or we getting shut down somewhere?
Yeah.
But at News Cafe, it was such a freedom when I was just seeing them dance, and I said, "Oh, this reminds me so much of us." But I didn't see
They were just having a good time.
just having a good time. Didn't see the police outside waiting to shut it down. And speaking of, I didn't even see a whole lot of that either.
Yeah, you don't. There's, you know, they're not over policed here. You know, people take care of themselves. A lot of it is based on respect. You know, if somebody's older than you, just to respect, and so forth. And I found that guy because I just seem to find myself being the oldest one in the room most of the time. So it's a lot of respect, you know, going on. So you don't need a policeman to come tell you how to act. You just act, you know, based off how you was raised in the. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, in the rurals. You were taught how to act, you know, around people and so forth. So, and that's another thing when I say we need to learn what it's like to be an African versus just an African American, because like you said, you in Atlanta, you go to a turnout. I mean, you know, I grew up in the 80s, 70s and the 80s. So, you know, in the 90s, it just got out of control. And then here we are, you know, people, no reason somebody's dead. Here, I mean, I've been here all this time, and, you know, outside of an accident or, you know, like somebody's, you know, have an accident or something, people are generally okay, and people get taken care of. You get a little bit out of control, somebody's going to come and say, hey, brother, hey, sissy. And let's take care of you. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna party with us tomorrow. You know, right now, you know, we're gonna get you okay. So yeah, interesting. But it's very interesting that you guys had a really good time. And I will say, you know, as the owners of the Real South Africa, a lot of people that have come here have had fabulous time. Some people are very what you call it, they're reserved in how they present themselves. You know, it's their first time on camera, but then when they get on camera, they're like, "Man, I just cannot believe what I'm seeing. I just cannot believe that this exists and nobody knows about it, and nobody is promoting it." So we try to promote it directly to you, you know, coming from, you know, since we're here and whatnot, because we know we're not going to get this on you know, on Good Morning America.
Of course, right.
Then all of a sudden we'll be leaving the country in droves just to spend our tourism dollar here in South Africa. Because, like, for example, and you already know, like, if you give 100 Rand tip to someone, that's a significant tip. No doubt about it. Right?
We did that.
That's $6 US. You know, and so I'm sure you guys are giving a tip or two.
No, they gave.
Oh my goodness, we did a lot of tipping. It was just
well, before I had, not to cut you off, but before I had Rands, I gave the guy that dropped us off at the airport. I mean, from the airport to our apartment, I gave him a $20 bill, and he was like, "Thank you," with so much respect, and I was like, "Wow, I don't even care how much that was. I just know you deserve it because you're my brother." And you done a service to me, and so it's just to get the gratitude that they show you, because they really appreciate it and they really need it. You know, sometimes in America, people need it, but people have this pride about them, like they don't want to, like, be grateful for it. You know, like, oh, it's an expectation. You know, you just owe it to me because, you know, I handed you something. You know, from a window. So it's just a difference, you know. I see people, they want to work they want to earn it there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And by the way, I know they're not supposed to accept tips, but they did. I had to tip the Delta people. I had to.
Well, don't be getting nobody in trouble.
Right. I was like, you weren't supposed to say that.
They don't know who they are.
Okay, cool. Now, I had somebody ask a question. So asked them if they had any lamb chops. Did y'all get any lamb chops?
I did every day. Just about every time we went out, I did that and prawns.
I did have lamb chops.
And malva pudding.
Oh, the Marva. Tasha, can you go to Woolies and ship me some Marva with the vanilla custard?
Yeah, I think I had the marble twice, and I think you had it like 4 or 5 times.
I did.
He couldn't leave it alone.
We shared it the first time, and I said, "Oh no, I can't share this." So I went back to Woolies.
You sent me a picture of the box.
Yes. Oh man! And at first I was like, "What is the going dessert?" And so the girl, that's when we first got there. She took me right to the Malva, and she was like, "You need this, and you need the vanilla ice cream."
Yes.
I was like, "All right." And when we shared it, I said, "Oh, I can't share this." I had it like 3 or 4 times. Yeah, that is like the best. If you're going to South Africa, guys, you got to have the Malva.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to have it with cream and custard. So I like mine with vanilla custard and ice cream like at the same time. So
That's what we did. Yeah, we layered it.
Yeah. Let's not get into food at this point because that could go on forever.
Yeah. So I have another question for you. I don't know how to phrase it, but obviously it's there on the screen for everyone to see. You guys can answer the best way that
beauty. Oh, I have an answer for that. I saw at Melrose Arc, they had billboards of Black people on the outside. It was like a fence on that wraps around the back. I think the backside of the mall, the outdoor mall, and they had all of these billboards of nothing but Black people, like African Black models. And we were thinking in the U.S. we had that conversation. We said, well, how often do we go somewhere in the States and we see just us? Like you might see one Black guy or girl, you might not even see one. You might see maybe 2, and you might see 10 other other races, but just to see all of that lined up, and it was just nothing but Black men and women. I was like, wow, that was just absolutely awesome to see that. And not have to be like, oh, we are, we're glad just to see 1. We're glad just to see 2. No, we saw nothing but that. Right. Because I find here in the States, we're always excited about being the first or the only. In our
so group. Right about that.
And that's nothing to be, after a while, it's nothing to be excited about because it's just not enough. Like they've gotten us pigeonholed in thinking that we should think that bare minimum is adequate for you. You deserve, we deserve more than that. And that showed me right there that, okay, this is a place that really and truly embraces its people. And it's not something that's based on, economic status. We'll embrace you if you're a celebrity. No, these look like people that were just, probably models and, people that maybe wasn't well known. But it was just good to see that.
Mm-hmm. All right. I see Wesley has a question. Tell Wesley, I'm gonna talk to you offline.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to Wesley. So this question right here is a pretty good question. I like the question because I like cars.
Oh God. You heard me say, "Oh God," because I know where it's going.
Ask them about the cars, Mark.
Oh my goodness.
What do you think about the cars here in South Africa?
Go ahead, Rodney.
Oh, that's my thing.
Right.
Well, if you are a car person, you will not have a problem. Like if you like, luxury cars, exotic cars, family cars, whatever you like, they got it. I mean, you're just not going to find like an American going over there. If you're a Chevy, a Ford American, you're going to be hurt because you're not going to see as many of those. If you are a person like me that like foreign cars, imports, you're going to be in paradise because you still get the options. You still got BMW, Mercedes, you got Range Rover, you've got all the exotics like Aston Martin, the dream cars. You've got what's the other car? Like you have a little bit of Kia and Hyundai. So if you like, Korean cars, they're there too as well. But you're gonna see a variety, and you're gonna see that just because in America you see people in Atlanta, every other person got a luxury car. Well, South Africa, those people Mercedes, that have luxury cars, Mercedes. Not much difference. Yeah. Like it's a lot of that there too. And the only thing is you just gotta get used to driving on a different side. And that's the part that scares me. I'm like, oh my God, how can I get in that car and drive? But I guess it just comes with time, you know. After you do it so many times.
Actually, Asha, you know, everybody knows Asha.
But you gotta sing it.
Asha means life. She just actually she test drove a car for the first time, and
she did.
Video, so she's on the other side, but she's gonna be okay. We got people that will take care of you in every area. So I got one of my guys that's assisting her with getting the car, getting her traffic registry number, getting her ready to drive on the other side of the car.
Practicing
So ultimately, we will see Asha and her SUV riding around in the streets in the doing her thing. It's happening. It's literally happening. You know. Somebody asked about the nightlife. Did y'all get a chance to do any nightlife type things in South Africa?
Yep, we did. We went to a lounge called Saints. Saints is really nice, very upscale, remind us very much of something in Atlanta of the States. Of course, News Cafe, we talked about that already. That was definitely a vibe. I think we definitely did more nightlife in Cape Town though, because they have this area called Long Street. And it's nothing but bars and restaurants, and you go have at it.
It's like a little. Yeah. It's like Bourbon Street, but cleaner.
Yeah, cleaner version.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
That's the best way to put it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have a question from this guy. I think we all know Tabang.
Tabang.
Yeah.
Our Influet too.
He has some hard questions. We got so many. I'm like, okay, what's the most memorable experience?
The most memorable experience for me, it was going to Soweto. Because guys, okay, my DNA on my mom's side links me to Mandela. There's a haplogene. And so for me, it was very special because I knew that before I got there. So going there, I really connected and felt like I was planted with my ancestor there. And I know that by blood. So for me, my most memorable experience is anywhere where Mandela was and my feet was right there. That's the most memorable experience.
It's so many, but I think for me, when we landed and we got off the plane and we looked around and we saw how calm everything was. Like, we're so used to the hustle and bustle of Atlanta, you know, everybody's ripping and running in the airports everywhere. But when we got there, it was a stillness. And it was like, oh my gosh, like everything was so relaxed and it was very peaceful. And I was like, man, this is like a breath of fresh air. So I think for me, that was a very memorable experience because we, you know, and going, and here's another thing, going when we go shopping, like our first shopping experience, going to grocery shop, you really feel like you have moved because you're trying to figure out, you know, how their ketchup is. Like, okay, their ketchup is different than ours.
Tomato sauce
and stuff like that. So you those are things like that, just the little things. And then I find myself, if I have to go somewhere without him, I'm walking fast. But people there don't walk fast. They walk very slow and graceful. So I'm like, slow down.
Yeah, we were
I had to say to myself, slow down. Like, it's okay. Like, you'll get there. Slow down. Yeah. So it's just those. It's a lot of the little things for me that really just like tickle me pink because it's like, you know, it's just so intriguing to me how different things are. Yeah. But then in some instances they're the same. Like, you know, very similar.
Yeah, and I think another thing too was speaking English, and then when I would leave, I would say something in Zulu, and I just think that would just throw everybody we met off. Even when we got out of the Ubers, I got out of the van from trips, and they were like, "Show it," and I'm like, "Salagashi," or I would know their names with the clicks, and that would just be like, "Oh, you." So they be like, "Oh, you speak Zulu?" I say, "Yeah." I say, "Zulu ganhani," and they like, "Oh," and then next thing you know, we're just talking back and forth.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I think that was another memorable thing. It's just speaking and then I would say something in Zulu later, and it would just kind of just completely throw all of our people off.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, well, how did you learn Zulu?" I was like, "Inclandini, in a book." I was like, "Get from the Inclandini."
So, Mandy, Africa, she had a question for you. She says, "Which city did you enjoy the most?"
Uh-oh.
Ooh, Latasha. I knew we was gonna get hit with that question.
Yes.
Oh,
Why you
which
looking
one
at me? Well, I would say I enjoyed both cities a lot, but
Yeah.
and I value them for different things, but we really did enjoy Cape Town because of the scenery, the beach, the mountains, all of that stuff. It was just so enjoyable. But that's one of the things I enjoyed more about that. But what I enjoyed so much about Johannesburg is the history, the learning, the connecting.
Mm-hmm.
The people.
Yeah,
the people. The people are great in both places.
Yeah.
But then, but like a lot of Joburg people are so down home and just so, so it's a very tough question because it's like I enjoy so much about Joburg, I enjoy so much about Cape Town. So it's like, how do I really measure that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
Okay.
I'm gonna give you yours.
No, you said it all for me. Yeah.
Well,
Sometimes you know the other one know how to just sum it all up.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
so
let me ask you this. So, do you think, I mean, I know what I think, and I know we talk too because we're here every day. Do you think that we're so different between the African Americans and the South Africans? Do you think we're that different, or do you think we are far apart? What do you think?
No, we talk about this all the time, and we're explaining this to friends. We're the same. It's just a different language
in
overall culture. I was just watching mannerisms and certain things, like how the rhythms, the way they would speak, and I'm like, that's just like how they're saying it. They're just saying it in Zulu and Xhosa. I mean, it was just like, man, some of the like the thought processes behind certain things, even in the dancing. I'm like, y'all, we all the same.
Yeah.
I think we was talking about that like while we that's it. Man, we are just
really
the same,
the
just
dance
a different.
movement.
But even some of the people we were meeting, they would tell us that they said we're no different. It's just different.
Yeah.
Some of the South African brothers and sisters were telling us that we're no different. We just have a different language.
And we have different dialects.
But
we share so much in the same.
Yeah, and I saw this when we were in Rosebank, in the marketplace in Rosebank, and we went down, and so you know how just like when people are trying to get you to buy something, and so the girl came up to, she was like, "Oh, hello, how you doing?" And then just the way she was saying, she said, "I'm your bro, I'm your sister, and you're my brother. I want you to look and buy." I said, this is no different than us in the States.
But now we met a few people that are from Africa, different places, but their whole like attitude and rhythm is so like African Americans. Like they didn't seem like they were from there. Because we met someone, what was her name, Nancy at Santa Mall.
Yeah,
she was so American, like the way her delivery, the way her attitude, like she just had the attitude. But it was a good attitude, but it was just she just had so much attitude, like many of our sisters have.
Yeah, like where are you from? She was just talking with the hands.
Yeah, she had that rhythm.
She had the rhythm. I said, "Are you going to say?" She said, "No, I'm from here. What you all need to do this." I said, "Oh, okay."
And she spoke like her English was like ours. Like
yeah.
Very intriguing.
Well, I will say, that that's another reason why I think, as far as what we do, we want to bring us together, because it's funny how so many Americans come here and we think we're so exclusive, and we think we are the center of the whole black world centers around, a few cities in America, and there's so much blackness out here. And so when we do bring these people from, these African American people to Africa, I think a lot of them are humbled, because they're like, well, I thought what we did was like the bee's knees. It was everything. And little do they know, they're finding out that here it is on Sunday. Here in South Africa right now, it's Sunday. And if you turn on any radio station, and I'm not going to say black radio station, I'm just going to say radio station, because this is Africa, this is South Africa.
Yeah.
You're going to hear more R&B. Marvin Gaye, more R&B, more everything, and they relate to it so much.
They know it better than we do.
They do.
Know the words. Yeah, they know the words. They know everything.
Yeah, they do.
Just as well as we do, because through their struggle, that's what they was listening to. No different than what we were listening to. So that tie is binding. So and so we need to stop thinking that we're at some level to where we're here and they're here or whatever. I probably shouldn't have put it that way, because at the end of the day, I think we need each other and on some level.
You're right.
Yeah, we do.
South Africans get it. They're like, no, we need our African American brothers and sisters, but we're sitting over there in America thinking, well, how we do. And
and it's not need in the sense of like need, is like collaboration, work together. Like, how can we create things together? Because we are like-minded in a lot of ways. And the only thing we really want to do is have a good time, eat some good food, take care of our family, and socialize. Like, we're the same, but we're gonna work hard, and then we're gonna play. And I think you guys noticed that too when you said you got here and everything was closed down. One thing you never really saw here, which you see all the time, is that nothing stays open 24 hours. You might find a gas station, but they knock off between like 4 and 5, and they go home to their family. Where do we do that?
Right, you're so right, because I was looking and how quiet it was. Like, even I said, people are at home with their families.
Yep.
I'm like, in the States, some of us are still working at 7 and 8 o'clock.
Yeah. I mean, and I find myself getting a little frustrated sometimes, like, oh, they closed too early, I'm so used to things being open, but then I had to value that, like, okay, the fact that, they can spend more time with their families. That's important. And one thing I want to say too about us being alike or different, one of the contrasts I realize, we both realize this, is that they don't call each other the N-word. They don't greet each other with that.
I didn't hear it in the music.
Pants are not sagging. So I think those are some ways that African Americans, we can take notice and we can learn from each other, because I mean, I was expecting to see, a little bit of that, because I know that, we are Black, but I was impressed. I did not see that. And I was like, man, like, they really do this thing the right way in terms of like the presentation. And I value that. And I was like, man, we need to have more of that where we are, because there's some things, we can work on. I'm sure that there's things in their culture they can work on. There's things, in African American culture we can work on and improve upon too. So, I really value that.
We had, I can't remember who we spoke to last, but someone said, very rarely will you find like a South African working multiple jobs. And that's a norm for most of us. Well, they will work a regular job 9 to 5 on the weekends. They work a different job. And sometimes after their 9 to 5, they might go work a 6 to 10 someplace else. Like, that's very normal for us. And I think it was Chelsea, who was another one of our guests. And she said that we don't work that way because we're trying to like ball out of control. We're working just so that we can make our mortgage, pay our car insurance, and eat. Like, we do that because we still have to eat.
Right.
So here, when you look at the values, it's like we're taught to go more, try to get more, but at the same time, we're losing connections with family and friends, and even connections with ourselves. But here, you guys noticed that you were able to fully connect, and you guys fully connected. I felt like when you guys got here, you were already like plugged in. I felt like electricity went off everywhere, because I promise you guys were buzzing from the time you landed. Like, there was never a moment where you weren't happy. I mean, I think you're a happy person anyway, but I think when you got here, it was like, this is what I've been waiting for this whole time. And you can see that. I mean, you can see that. You can. I mean, from the way you guys, you would send me pictures of food and be like, "What is this loveliness? Like, why didn't you tell me about this?" I'm like, you're experiencing things like over and over, like trying to make sure that you maintain that high, because you and I talked about it. You knew you were gonna have to leave, so you were trying to like get as much malva and as many lamb chops and as you could.
Yeah, and one thing to your point where you were saying that about the happiness, some of my close friends said to us, they were like, "Man, like y'all look so happy. Like y'all look on the pictures and the videos, and like you look so happy. Like you're just having so much fun. You're in a different place." And I was like, "We are. Like we couldn't even hide it. Like we couldn't even camouflage. We were just in paradise." Like
I was just even when I kept on the plane when I saw. When we were about to land, I said, "Rodney, open that window." Because I have waited half my life to see. And it was just, I mean, to your point, it was just like, I was like dreading the day for us to come, for us to leave. And I was like, okay, we got to extend this. I can't, it's hard for me, for us to fathom getting back on that plane. And I see, and what was funny is we're running into other African Americans that were feeling the exact same way, that were saying, there's no way I can go back. I'm trying to extend. I'm like, that was already an eye-opener week 2. I'm like, wow, like, okay, I got to come back. I can't go back. And I'm feeling that.
But you know what? I will insert here. Like I said, the last several people that we had, to include yourselves, all felt the same way. They've all like, you know what, I'm here, and if they start feeling so comfortable, they like being even just being a tourist. Yeah. They love being a tourist, and they love being around the people. And then they're like, then we get that call, hey. I'm going to call the airlines and see if I can extend. How much more is it going to cost for me to stay? Because we're really having a good time, and we don't want to let it go. Like I said, I've experienced the suck.
Oh, it's a big suck.
Yeah, I've experienced it. Got on the plane. I think I probably did like 12, 13 trips before we moved, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, it was more than that.
Probably more. And each time I came back to DC, I know I'm getting into my car. My wife's going to pick me up, and I'm like, and I see her, and I be like,
hey, I'm like, you good? No.
Yeah, I think the funniest thing was, I think one time I landed, I got my bags at Dulles Airport in DC. I get my bag, and I know I've been here for a while, so I mean, let's be honest, in especially in Joburg, you don't have a lot of white people talking to you. You don't really talk to them. You see them.
They talk to you.
They're over there.
Yeah.
So what happened was, I get my bag, and I was like, I did the whole, well, let me just go to Starbucks, grab me a coffee real quick. And this white lady just started talking to me, and I just looked at her. I'm like, what do you want? Like, why are you even talking to me? And I really just felt so bad about being in the U.S., even though that was my home. I was about to go to my nice house and, all my stuff, and probably drive one of my nice cars that I had at the time. But I would have still rather been here in the Republic of South Africa, riding around in a rental car. Period.
That is what we are going through now. I mean, it is. Ooh, yeah, because our friend, he was like, JT, your whole aura is your spirit is off. And I said, because I'm really not here. Even when I go out and I'm in the shopping centers or like in the supermarket, I was telling Rodney, I said, I don't remember the shelves being empty in Pick and Pay and Checkers. Everything I needed in Woolies and Checkers and Pick and Pay was there.
You didn't tell the truth.
I'm looking like, I'm just frustrated, and I'm just like,
shame the devil.
Yeah, I'm just like, what is wrong with our country? And I just said this like 2 days ago. I said, Rodney, I said, why is it that there, everything we needed was there?
It was.
I did not see one part of those supermarkets where the shelves were empty.
Nope.
What's going on here, America?
Yeah, America has some issues at this point.
I know it's a whole nother story. Look, trust me, I know we'll be talking.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, there are definitely some issues with like that.
Yeah, I've gotten so spoiled. Yeah,
the economy and stuff. It's some issues. It's more than what meets the eye. And then we got this inflation thing. Everything is going up. So what's there is more expensive. And but people's paychecks or incomes aren't necessarily rising with that. So, people are feeling, our friends are feeling it through renting and looking to buy their homes. Like they're feeling that pinch. And I'm like, fortunate for us, we own our home, but you really feel for people that are really, trying to get to that point or trying to, do what they have to do, to get to that point. And it's like everything is stacking up against them. So, I do get that.
I was just wondering, like, I know that all this was going on while we were in South Africa and we had everything we needed. I could go and pick up anything we wanted for dinner, a snack, and not see shelves. But one of our friends told us, she said, when y'all come back, the shelves are going to be empty. And I was like, no, they're not, because we got everything here.
Well, I mean, I figured they knew better than us because, they know what's going on over here. We was like, we were really detached.
Yeah, because she was like, y'all going to be disappointed when y'all come back. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he was right about that.
Y'all trying to figure out how to take food in your little thing.
I think the thing for me is, just like, like the inflation thing gets on my nerves more than anything. You're paying more for everything, but you're getting like maybe even less than what you were getting. And then for the dollar, you're getting less. So I think that's the big problem. Gas has gone up, when you go out to eat, you feel it there, so it really makes you not want to go out to eat as much, so it's like everything is just up. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of, if you work for somebody else, a lot of companies aren't really trying to give you that in your, in your income. And, so so I don't really know what they expect to happen here in America, what do you expect an outcome of this to be if you're not going to adjust to it, and allow people to adjust to it.
I see a question, excuse me. Somebody said, how are the houses? Are you talking about the houses here in the U.S. or the houses in South Africa?
Probably the houses in
South Africa.
Well, yeah, you're the house person.
I'm the house person.
I'm the car person.
Yeah. The houses are just beyond words and amazing for what you get, and especially compared to the US dollar and the rand. It's like over there you can get I would say $3.2 million rand home there. And in the States, I'm like, for us from the States there, that's affordable for some of us. So it's like very affordable. Like, okay, I can go over there and get almost a 3-level home for almost 300.
Maybe the same thing I'm paying.
Same thing I'm paying.
House.
Yes,
and
bigger.
And you have not only just that, but you have sometimes a massive a massive pool in the back of your house. Like you might have that. It may be gated, maybe a gated community. You may not have a gated community with 300,000 in the States. You may or may not. Chances are, if it's a new community now, you're not going to have that. You're probably not going to find one that's 300,000 in a major city now. So it is a huge difference in the affordability and what you get for the money.
That's when I really did not want to leave South Africa, is when we went to look at houses and we went through the gated and the technology, the biometrics I saw. And I was seeing the South African children just walking up in a golf course community. Where is that? Where in the United States, where the houses, gated community in the affluent areas, all Black, golf course. There may be some, I don't know, but not compared what I saw in South Africa. The homes literally look like Santon Mall to me. And I was like, that's $500,000?
Yeah, they have marble staircases and all that stuff.
Yes, the flooring.
But that's going to stay here. You're going to pay $1 million here for marble anywhere in that house. That's just a whole other price range right there.
Well, Well, I will say this. You know, you know, we do want people to come. You know, we tell people all the time, come here on a visit. You know, they see a lot of stuff. We've covered a lot of topics. I'm glad. Obviously, you guys had an amazing experience, and I'm sure there's more to tell. We will definitely round back to it. But I will obviously say that people should come on a visit. Like I said, there's a company set up now, which is ours, that can sort you out, get you here, make you feel safe, make you feel comfortable, so you can have stories, you know, like these these fellas right here. And it's us, it's the Real South Africa. And I want you to think, you know, we own the company, but we have a lot of support people around us that you don't see, which is a good thing, because you're here on vacation. We don't want you to come in and try to figure it out, or because you guys have to really figure it out besides stuff that you wanted to do. But we want people to come and experience South Africa, as we say here, proper. We want you to do it proper. Yeah, that's the thing. We want you to do that.
We want you to be sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't need to have any issues. And so for those that are like on the fence about coming to South Africa, trust me, you will always go back different. You'll get off that plane, you know, you'll go through customs, they give you that free stamp to say, hey, you're here in South Africa as a tourist. But I promise you, when you leave, you're going to go back differently. You're going to go back thinking about, you know, wow, you know, my life could have been, or
can be.
That's
yeah, it happened. And I brought it up because it happens, you know, all the time. And then people's trajectory change. They're like, you know, they go from, well, I'm just going to go to work every day and I'm going to do this. Then they start thinking, well, but if I interject this South African experience, I can possibly get where I really want to go and live the life that I really want to live. But again, that doesn't happen if you're just sitting on a computer in LA or in Denver or somewhere. Researching. You actually have to do what you guys did. Get off, you know, book a trip. Obviously, we take care of that, and then come here. So I'm gonna leave the last words with you guys on that topic.
I mean, you really said it. I mean, there's no other way to get the true experience than to be there and live in the moment of it, like soak it in, absorb it. Take as many pictures as you can, videos, capture the memories, the moments, because everybody's in a different place in their life, and some people can, make the shift when, suddenly some people, have to go through stages, or, everybody's different. But I will say this, once you go, it'll always be in your heart somewhere. South Africa will always be in your heart, and you'll think about it every day. You'll think about certain things. You start comparing, like we've done. We compare. Everything now is become the new benchmark,
right? And not say the videos of other people living through their testimony. It's always it was already a setup. I was in tears before the trip because I could not wait to experience what they were experiencing. And I'm like, man, it was just the anticipation, the flexibility of how you guys allow us to come, the payment arrangements, everything was just so fluid. It wasn't anything overbearing. And most of all, the playbook. Yeah. The playbook on how to move to South Africa. That was the first thing I got before I actually even spoke to you guys. I said, I'm getting that playbook because I know we're going. Yeah, that was the first thing.
And another thing I want to add to that is the experience that you guys promised us was just that. Like we were not let down. Like, sometimes you go places and you're let down maybe by the lodging or something like that. Everything was great. Like the lodging was what it appeared to be. We got picked up and chauffeured, just different things, just the little things to the to the major things. Everything was what it was.
It was truly the white glove luxury experience. It was the constant check-in. How are we doing? Is there anything I can help you guys with? Are you guys finding this? And then there was just suggestions that you all just threw out there when I least suspected. I said, oh, okay, Rodney, this, hey, so, and then too, you allow that space as well for us to just kind of be on our own, learning. And then if I needed something, I'll just, respectfully say, hey, ask a question. And in the ending, when you know what I'm talking about. Y'all, oh my goodness, y'all did that. I think I was crying at the spa.
Crying at the spa.
I never
that's
experienced anything like that.
It was the spa, the half day at the spa. I was like, next time I want to do a whole day. I don't want to do a half day. I want to do the whole day.
Yeah.
It was. We didn't want to leave. Like we were trying to book. We were trying to book additional time, and we was trying to go the next day, but it didn't work out. But we wanted to just stay. Like it was, and the fact that they did something I'd never seen in the U.S. Like they had for parents to have kids, they could drop their kids off at a certain area of the spa, and the kids could get certain services while they get their services. So it was like, dang, who thought of that? Like that was brilliant. That was like absolutely brilliant. So that's why I would like to see some of my friends, if they ever came with kids, I'd like to see them take advantage of that because as a parent, you go through a lot of stress, and so why not have to not worry about your kids? They're down on another end getting the white glove treatment.
Yes, it's just the mind-blowing things in South Africa that I just was not expecting. It's like every time we turned the corner, I was like, oh, wow. Oh, that's what I just, the barbershop.
Barbershops. Oh, amazing.
Yeah, somebody actually asked earlier, did you get a haircut while you was there?
Oh,
we got two, but one was kind of rushed. We was trying to really, really get one. But the first time we got one bespoke.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I saw
you guys were just there.
Yeah, we were just there.
Yes. And I actually was sending that to my barber. I said, this is a true barbershop.
We got brown liquor.
That's complimentary.
Complimentary. So we got a haircut, hair, beard, facial balm, and all that stuff. The stuff for your beard. He got some type of alcohol
with some little block that he put around my face. I was like, what?
Hot towels. I'm probably forgetting something, but it was so much that they did to us, and I paid for both of ours. It was like $47 with tip, and I would pay that. Well, sometimes in the States I would pay more than that just for myself. Now I pay a little bit under that, but like you can't even compare the service and what you get for your money. And we went to this one barbershop that does like manis and pedis.
Rocket Man.
We visited Rocket Man, but what I was talking about is our experience when we got our mani and pedis done at the barbershop.
Oh, sorbet.
That was sorbet
man.
Yeah. Let me tell you, the lady buffed my nail beds on my fingers and feet. She buffed them. You would think that they were shine. Like she put polish. She did not put polish. She buffed them. And like she took so much pride in it. My fingernails look like glass. Honestly, I was like, I feel like I'm Will Smith, like I'm a celebrity.
Was it an Asian lady who did that for you?
No, she was black.
No, it's Asian people, right? In the States, we have Asian people who do that.
I was just about to get to that, Mark. And when I told her that, they was just like, really?
She was African.
They were shocked. I said, they're the ones who own majority of the nail salons here. And that's what a lot of us black people would like to flock to get our nails done. And so when we was over there, I'm like, I know it's an African over here that's doing my nails.
Yeah. I mean, like, a facial, like if you get a facial, most any service you get done is somebody that looks like you that's doing it. And I think that that's something you can really appreciate coming from the US. And but like I mean, they were talking to us, they were trying to get to know us a little bit, understand, where we was from, and while she
made friends with them.
Yeah.
And that would just felt good because I could talk to them and establish a relationship while they're doing my nails. And I was like, man, this felt good. My African sister on my hands and feet.
I don't think I've ever had that experience in the States. I never had an African American female Give me a mani or petty. Never.
Yeah. But you know the good part about all of this, and I mean, we talked about a lot of stuff. You guys shopped, you guys got services, you guys ate a lot of food, you guys traveled, you guys did a whole bunch of stuff. And the one thing that I tell people a lot, and it matters, especially to our people. We're properly in this tourism space. We're not just playing around on our end. We're properly, so we know what's going on. We have conversations with the people in the tourism space that's doing tourism here in South Africa and other parts of the world. They contact us, so we kind of know what's going on. But what you guys actually did, you got the services, you got everything you're supposed to get in South Africa, provided that for you and the experiences. Obviously I didn't hire the people who did your nails. I didn't do that, but yeah, I want to. I really do.
No, we just found them in the mall.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop by there and find out if I can hire those people. But
Mandela Square. Yeah.
Okay, I'll swing through. But
Yeah.
what you guys? Oh yeah, I know Rocket Man too, by the way. Mandela Square. But anyway, but what you guys actually did, and this is when people ask us this question, your answers are what I want people to hear. People say, well, how do I invest in Africa? How do I invest in South Africa? Well, you did. You came here and you participated and you paid
on every level.
On every level, you help someone. Let me give you an example. Like for example, let's say somebody is using what you call it, like what we call public transport, or a minibus taxi. There are some people that actually are getting on that minibus taxi that day and don't even know if they're going to be able to have enough money to get back on that minibus taxi to get back home. But they might have ran across you that day and you gave them a tip, right? Or you did this, or you did that, or you bought something or whatever. So that matters. And so that's why that's almost my number one on my list. That's why I want a lot of us, because we give tips every day and we're dropping $5 tip. Don't think nothing about it. That's almost 100 grand. I mean, that matters. So if we're coming here as tourists and doing what we got to do as tourists, just like you guys did, man, we are changing the game.
That is your initial investment into South Africa.
Yeah,
into Africa.
Yeah, so you are invested. You are an investor here in South Africa. So you come here as a tourist for 30 days. You guys have put a lot of money into the South African economy, and a lot of it went straight down into those Black communities. It went into those townships. It went into those rurals. It went into the people that are just made it to Sandton from where they came from. They just moved in, and they were able to provide you even the outfit that you're wearing. Somebody had to make that. You had to purchase it. And whatnot. I mean, even today, when I go get my car, there was a young man officer. I said I went golfing, but at the golf place where I went, there was a young man that was out there washing cars. I gave him 100 rand. He asked for 85. I gave him 100 rand. Gave him a little tip. I mean, I'm providing. I'm invested in South Africa, and a lot of us need to come here as tourists and do that. Even if, granted, people that's been watching us, yes, I'm here in South Africa. I believe in South Africa, but no matter where you go in Africa, do that.
Right.
Drop that tip. Yeah. Do what you got to do. I mean, even Tabang, I'm sure. I mean, Tabang, the person you mentioned earlier, I almost would want to tell you his story, but it would be heartbreaking. Now, I wouldn't want to do that. But my point is, Tabang is doing his thing. He's doing his thing, and I connected. I found Tabang. Well, we found each other. Let's go with that. And so you guys had an interaction with him, and he's making his. He's doing his thing. This is commerce. This is how I see it. I'm more of a business guy than anything. So this is how I see it. This is how I see it. So I don't have anything else for you guys. Do you guys have anything else for everyone?
I just wanted to say, piggyback on something you just said. If I got nothing else out of being in South Africa and being present there, it was that. the being able to give back and being able to do things for my people, because so many times, we go through life and you get caught up in what you're doing, and when you go places like that and you see how people are just basically trying to get to point A to B. They're just really trying to make a living. They're really just trying to seize the opportunity. And for you to be able to contribute to their, like, when you give somebody, you don't know what is providing for them. And I think the beauty of it is that the fact that we're able to do that, and we're able to do it at such a higher level than we can do it here in the U.S. Exactly. And that feels, that made me feel complete. Like, if nothing else, that made me feel complete, because I was able to go back and give to my people, the people that look like me, the people that care about me, the people that love me and support me, my people. And so for me, that was it. That was really it.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. And I just took one of the guys from the shelter and just took him to bought him some food, and then he said, I want to look good to go home for Christmas. I said, okay. And took him to H&M and dressed him head to toe. Yeah. And it just felt so good to do, and I could afford to do it.
And I think that goes down as one of the most memorable experiences.
That Tabang asked, is dressing one of the guys from the shelter.
Because that was someone that really needed it. And he really, just was so happy to get whatever he could get. And when people are just, gracious and can be in that situation and still be gracious and just thankful to get what they can, why not give them more than they ask for? So that's just, it's a beautiful thing there. But I know you've been getting, I've been seeing it on the chat. You've been getting
the question about my
about that and about words that you learned.
Okay. So somebody asked about the Umkele and said that I have a South African name. And yes, it's Sifiso, which means wish. That was given to me by my friend Bully, who's from Johannesburg. I forgot who asked that question.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I didn't see that. Yeah. One other one's words that you learned in Zulu.
Words that I've learned in Zulu? Oh my goodness, oh my Lord.
That's just what somebody wanted to know.
Well, I know how to do my formal greetings. Sabon, Unjani, Giapila, Wena Unjani. Like I say, Gitela Unkolo, excuse me, please. Please excuse me.
With it.
Yeah. So it just depends on the conversation, and I know some words and some clicks.
And then two other last things that I want to touch on that I saw come across, and I'll do it very quickly. Mm-hmm. Will we invest in South Africa someday? I think somebody asked that. Absolutely, yes. In terms of like real estate and house, absolutely. I feel like we will. And another, and definitely, if we do relocate, we'll definitely be investing. We'll definitely be buying. And then another question that was on the tip of my brain. That somebody asked was, it was literally right there on the tip of my brain, and I just forgot. It's a lot. But yeah, we definitely will. Oh, and our citizenship. Will we consider South African citizenship one day? And I think we're very much open to that, and we like the fact that South Africa wants you to keep your American citizenship too. So we have a dual. So that's definitely things that we would consider. And have thought about, and talked about.
Awesome.
That is it.
So I'm gonna say good night to you guys. I think we're echoing now. So Sifiso and Oluwazi, I'm going to get Sifiso to say goodbye to everyone in Zulu or Xhosa, whichever one you choose.
I say Salagashi. Siyabonga or Hambagashe. You can say it two ways. You can say Salagashe or Hambagashe. So Hambagashes go well, or you can say stay. Just say goodbye, or how they say shop, cheers. I saw it in the red. Shop. Wait a minute. Come on, bro.
Look at you.
All right, fellas.
Thank
All
you guys
right.
so much. I will chat with you soon. Thanks, guys. Have a
All
good
right.
afternoon.
Thank you,
Good
everyone.
night.
Bye, guys.
Shop.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
All right, guys. I'm hoping that you enjoyed that that presentation. Like I said, the original interview that they did is on our channel as well. So if you're not watching this on YouTube, go to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe. Click all the stuff, and then you can watch basically all our interviews there. And of course, theirs is there as well.
All right, guys. Thank you for staying awake with us. Those of you here in South Africa, it is almost 11 o'clock. And for those of you in America, it's barely 4. So you can continue watching or maybe start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So you know how to reach us, guys.
Oh, wait a minute. They can go to our website.
Oh, yep. You can also go to our website.
And
Those
book
of
your
you,
trip.
Yeah, I was going to say, and book your trip directly. All the tours are there. If you have any additional questions, you can always send us an email. But in the meantime, we are going to shut it down for the night. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you again soon on another live. Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Good night.
Bye.